If you are a Scorpio rising, I know you tend to run on high intensity until your body forces you to stop. In 2026, you finally stop waiting for the breakdown and you choose the reset yourself. This is a re-architecture year. Let's talk about why. This is the 2026 full year forecast for Scorpio Rising. In Astrofusion Lab, we read from the rising sign perspective because it shows how astrology lands in real life through relationships, work, money decisions, and the internal response to all of it. And make sure you stick around until the end. I'm going to share a specific timing technique that will tell you exactly which part of this forecast matters most for your specific age. This is a collective forecast. Also, exact times can vary a bit by location and time zone, so use the dates as anchors. For Scorpio Rising, 2026 is a re-architecture year, a year where your daily life, your work patterns, and your health routines have to evolve if you want the rest of your life to move forward. This is one of those years where the small choices aren't small anymore. Your schedule, your habits, your energy output, the way you manage stress, those things become the foundation for everything else. So the theme is simple: build a life you can actually sustain. Not just a life that looks powerful, one that feels stable in your nervous system and workable day to day. As a Scorpio rising, your traditional chart ruler is Mars. Mars is your drive, your boundaries, your will, and how you move from instinct into action. The biggest headline for your ruler this year is unusual. Mars does not go retrograde in 2026. That means this is a year of forward momentum. You won't have the typical 2-month review period where energy stalls out. It's straight drive. But that comes with a warning. Because there is no built-in pause button this year, you have to build one yourself. If you burn the candle at both ends, the astrology won't stop you until you hit a wall. So, the lack of a retrograde is a gift for productivity, but a risk for burnout. You have to pace yourself because the sky won't do it for you. If you use Mars well this year, the theme is simple. Momentum is good, but maintenance is required. The headline transit for Scorpio rising in 2026 is Saturn and Neptune moving into Aries and activating your 6th house, work habits, health routines, daily obligations, and the systems that keep your life running. Here are the key timing anchors. Neptune enters Aries on January 26th at the very first degree. Saturn enters Aries on February 13th, and then they meet. Saturn conjunct Neptune on February 20th. For Scorpio rising, the 6th house is the engine room. It's not the glamorous part of the chart, but it's where life actually happens. Neptune here can bring a sense of dissolving order, maybe a health mystery, fatigue, or realizing that your current work routine is draining you in a way you can't keep ignoring. Saturn here demands a fix. It asks for a new regimen. It asks you to treat your body and your time with serious respect. So early 2026 acts like a health and work audit. If a habit is toxic, it shows up. If a job is unsustainable, it becomes obvious. And a dignity note that matters. Saturn is in fall in Aries. Aries wants to sprint, Saturn wants to build. So in your daily life, you might feel a frustration between I want to get this done fast and my body needs me to slow down. The lesson is efficiency, not speed. This transit rewards you when you strip away the busy work and focus on the essentials. It's about doing less, but doing it with way more precision. If you've been asking, why am I so tired? Or how do I fix my schedule? Late January through February is your initiation window to build a routine that actually supports your physiology. Now here's the second major shift of 2026 for Scorpio rising, and it involves resources. On April 25th, Uranus leaves Taurus and enters Gemini. For Scorpio rising, that activates your 8th house, shared money, debt, taxes, inheritance, spousal income, and deep psychological bonds. Uranus in the 8th is a liberator, but it's unpredictable. It can bring sudden changes in shared finances, like a partner's income shifting, a sudden expense, or an unexpected windfall. It can also disrupt entanglements, making you want to break free from debts or financial dependencies that feel controlling. Psychologically, this is a transit about cutting cords. You may find yourself suddenly unwilling to hold on to an old grudge, an old grief, or a toxic emotional bond. Uranus wants you free. A high-voltage warning for early summer. Watch the date July 4th. Mars, your ruler, meets Uranus in your 8th house. This is volatile energy for shared finances and deep bonds. It can look like a sudden expense, a tax surprise, or an abrupt cut in an intimate relationship. Move carefully with anything that isn't fully yours, and don't make impulsive financial decisions that week. The goal with Uranus in the 8th is autonomy. It pushes you to ensure that your security doesn't depend entirely on anyone else. Now let's talk eclipses, because this is where the year tends to course correct you. First, the Aquarius and Leo eclipses. The solar eclipse in Aquarius happens on February 17th at 29 degrees, and the solar eclipse in Leo happens on August 12th at 20 degrees. For Scorpio rising, Aquarius is your 4th house: home, family, roots, living situation, and private life. Leo is your 10th house: career, reputation, public standing, and authority. So this axis is the work-life spine of the chart. It brings turning points in your living situation, like a move or a change in family dynamics, and turning points in your career. Often, one triggers the other. A promotion changes home life. A move changes work. The eclipses ask, does your foundation support your ambition? And does your ambition leave any room for a private life? Second, the Virgo and Pisces eclipses. The lunar eclipse in Virgo happens on March 3rd at 13 degrees, and the lunar eclipse in Pisces happens on August 28th at 5 degrees. For Scorpio rising, Virgo is your 11th house: friends, networks, community, and hopes for the future. Pisces is your 5th house: romance, creativity, children, and joy. So the second axis is about who you love and who you know. It can bring shifts in your social circle or a creative project coming to fruition. It asks you to balance the joy you create for yourself, 5th house, with the contribution you make to the group, 11th house. On August 18th, 2026, the lunar nodes change signs. The North Node leaves Pisces and enters Aquarius, and the South Node leaves Virgo and enters Leo. For Scorpio rising, that lands across your 4th and 10th houses, so it reinforces the home and career storyline for the rest of the year. With the North Node moving through Aquarius, growth pulls you inward, toward your roots, your home, your private stability, and healing the past. It asks you to prioritize your foundation. And with the South Node in Leo in your 10th house, there's a release happening around the need for constant public validation. It's a year where success might look less like applause and more like peace in your own home. If you've been asking, what's next for my career? After mid-August, the answer might actually be, fix the foundation first and the career will follow. Pluto continues moving through Aquarius, and for Scorpio rising, that's your 4th house: home, family, roots, ancestry, and the literal ground you stand on. This is a long transit, so it's not a one-year story. But in 2026, you can feel what it's doing. It's unearthing the foundations. Pluto in the 4th can bring deep transformation to your living situation, or deep psychological work around childhood and family patterns. It's often a time of renovation, literal or emotional. You are digging up the basement to fix the cracks. The point isn't to destroy the home. The point is to make sure it's built on truth. Pluto here wants you to live somewhere, and with someone, where you don't have to hide. Jupiter is a supporting co-star in 2026. and it helps answer questions about growth and perspective. A key timing anchor is June 30th, when Jupiter enters Leo. For the first half of the year, Jupiter is moving through Cancer, which is your 9th house: beliefs, travel, education, publishing, and wisdom. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer, so this is a beautiful signature for learning, teaching, or expanding your worldview. It's great for publishing, legal wins, or just feeling like you understand your life from a higher perspective. Then on June 30th, Jupiter enters Leo and moves into your 10th house, career and public reputation. This is the promotion transit. It brings visibility, recognition, and often a level up in your professional world. However, watch for mid-July. Around July 20th, Jupiter at the top of your chart opposes Pluto at the bottom, in your 4th house. This is the peak tension between your public ambition and your private life. A massive career win might require a sacrifice at home, or a family situation might demand you step back from work. The key is not to let the expansion of one destroy the foundation of the other. So the pattern is simple. First, you expand your mind, 9th house, and then you expand your career, 10th house. Late in the year, Venus goes retrograde, and for Scorpio rising, this is deeply personal because it starts in your sign. Venus stations retrograde on October 3rd at 8 degrees Scorpio, and then Venus stations direct on November 13th at 23 degrees Libra. For Scorpio rising, this retrograde storyline moves across your 1st and 12th houses. Scorpio is your 1st house, your body, identity, presence, and the way you assert yourself. Libra is your 12th house, unconscious patterns, hidden desires, rest, and the things you keep secret. A dignity note that matters: Venus in Scorpio is traditionally in detriment, so the first part of the retrograde can feel intense. It's a review of you, how you look, how you relate, and whether you're getting what you actually desire. Then, when Venus backs into Libra, where Venus is in domicile, it enters your 12th house. This takes the review internal. It asks you to look at hidden relationship patterns, secret attractions, or ways you sabotage your own peace. When Venus turns direct in Libra, it brings a quiet clarity. You might clear out an old subconscious block, or finally let go of a past relationship that was haunting the background. So, for Scorpio rising, this is a deep reset. It starts with your image, 1st house, and ends with your soul, 12th house. Before we close, I want to add one timing technique from traditional astrology that makes the year feel much more personal: annual profections. Each year of life activates a house. That house becomes the main topic of the year, and its ruler becomes your Time Lord, the planet that helps tell the story of how the year unfolds. Perfections are counted from your birthday to your next birthday. For Scorpio rising, here's the perfection map. Find your age. How to use this: if your perfection house lines up with the loud themes in the forecast, especially the 4th, 6th, 8th, and 10th, those topics tend to feel more personal, and timing tends to show up more clearly. To pull it all together, 2026 is a year where your daily life, your intimacy patterns, and your foundation all evolve at the same time. Late January through February sets the tone as Saturn and Neptune enter Aries and activate your 6th house, reshaping work habits, routines, and health priorities. Late April brings Uranus into your 8th, updating shared finances and pushing intimacy and trust into a more honest, liberated place. The Eclipses and Nodal Shift emphasize the 4th and 10th houses, home and career, and they ask you to build a foundation that actually supports your ambition. Jupiter supports growth through study and perspective early in the year, and then boosts career visibility after June 30th. And Venus retrograde beginning in Scorpio in the fall brings a deep reset of identity, desire, and relationship patterns, asking you to honor your self-worth without needing control. If you keep it simple, stabilize your routines, clean up your agreements, and build a private life that can hold your power, This has been your 2026 full year forecast for Scorpio Rising from Astro Lab, where ancient astrology meets modern psychological insight. Each month, we'll come back to these themes and track how they unfold in real time.